In Cochise County, and welcome to the Michael Zehr Show. Today is Friday, July 1st. It's the first day of a new month. We're coming to you live from Rising Eagle Studio. I want to make sure I say it right. Here at the Warrior Healing Center in Sierra Vista, Arizona, in the great county of Cochise and in the great state of Arizona. Just got back from California, and I'm so glad to be back in Arizona. That place is just a mess. Gas prices we saw up there were like $7 a gallon.
Well, I'm happy to pay so much.
Yeah. So today joining me, we have a couple gentlemen here. Yes, I said gentlemen from Arizona at work. Kevin and Joe. Oh yeah, you're looking around for them.
Yeah, I know where they at.
We got Kevin and Jerry here. I don't have anything on my teeth, right?
Yeah, you do.
No,
Okay.
No, not this time.
There's nobody watching that'll point it out.
There's
other than me.
Yeah, there's a certain Kevin that every time I seem to do an interview pops up on the comment section, something in your teeth. So if you have any questions, we're going to go over jobs today and helping veterans find employment. So if you have any questions for our veterans, put it here in the comment section, and I will pass it on to them, and we will happily try to answer your question. And good morning to you too, Keith. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that you're joining us today. So tell us, Jerry and Kevin, what have you guys been doing the last 3 days? I hear you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, I just came back from a whirlwind tour of fabulous Yuma in the summertime, which is amazing. It really is.
Saw camels, didn't you? It was that
I
hot.
thought I was back in Kuwait. I really did. Or Iraq, but either or, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so it was down there. Did an amazing event. It was the first ever, my understanding, Veterans Job Fair that was hosted in Yuma.
Okay.
Went very well. I think it exceeded expectations. That was our back brief this morning on it. And so it was just really nice to see all these organizations out there wanting to hire veterans, which I thought was just absolutely amazing.
See, one thing I have to keep in mind is a lot of my audience is Cochise County, but you guys do statewide. And sometimes I have to remember that because Arizona at work, that's what they do. That's their job, is to help our veterans get jobs. So
we have DevOps in every major location in the state of Arizona. Kevin and I cover the Tri-County area, Cochise, Graham, Greene County.
It's a lot of territory.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of windshield time.
Yeah, a lot of windshield time. And we have DevOps in northern Arizona who are just in the same situation. They cover mass territory.
Right. So what were some of the veterans, like what were they looking for? What type of jobs were they looking for down there?
It was a little bit of everything. Some law enforcement, some government, whether it was working on the air station, Marine Corps Air Station, or working out at Yuma Army Proving Grounds. They had a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But the one thing what I saw, interacting with some of the veterans was benefits, increasing their veterans benefits.
Okay.
Whether disability or whatever. So we were dealing with a lot of that down there.
Does Arizona at work get a lot of jobs offered like through contractors or the government, or can they even do that?
Well, we work directly with the government contractors to place veterans, and especially down here being a military town.
Right.
Because the majority of employees at these government contracts are veterans, so we work with them. And if you look at like the cyber side, we actually have what we call our Title I, which is education and training, and it's grant money where if they qualify, we can pay for their certifications.
Damn. Payback. Here we go.
Leave it to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things I did see, they had some pictures this morning from that Yuma Veteran Job Fair, was everybody got the name sticker, but they had their service branch on it.
Oh wow!
It was like, we're bringing that down here.
That's cool.
and we'll probably we'll recommend it to coaches serving veterans for the veteran stand down. You know, you can't make fun of each other for the branch you served in if you don't know.
Right.
So I mean, that's huge.
Yep. And it's so much ribbing like last Christmas.
Yeah.
With Dan here online, they were doing where the Christmas ornament with the Marines and moved it up to the top and then to the bottom.
Everybody walking out the door had to move their service branch to the top. It was funny.
Yeah.
But no matter how much we're proud of whichever service we served in, it's the fact that we served and put the uniform on at all. So
to me, it takes a lot of courage when you just do this. You raise that right hand, you know. And I have two of my sons are still active duty, and one is a veteran. And we kind of joke about it. You know, the military can be kind of an easy job. The Army doesn't ask a lot from you, but when they do, it's a doozy. Right. You know, you may have to go to the field, or God forbid, you have to deploy somewhere. You
never know.
Amazing thing, you know, place that wasn't in the travel brochure when you enlisted. So,
yeah, I see the comment on Jacob's looking for vets for temporary positions.
Right.
Yeah, they were at our job fair yesterday. 2 tables, they came in force. So,
wow.
And I think they got a lot of good bites as far as
Centurion is another one that they'll train you. They just want to hire people.
High school education, they're going to train you.
Yeah. So Kevin, where were you at then? While Jerry was in
did, and I believe the first time ever for Cochise County, we did a 3-day hiring fair, and it was based on different industries every day. So Tuesday was construction, hospitality, food service.
Okay.
Wednesday was what was Wednesday? Oh, nursing and education, or healthcare and education. And then Thursday was government, IT, and law enforcement.
And where did it take place at?
At the Cochise College Downtown Center on Wilcox in the student commons. It was really nice. And what we saw and the feedback that we've gotten so far, it was smaller than our huge job fairs that we do in the spring and the fall. Employer or the hiring recruiters and the employers liked that they could spend more time one-on-one with prospective employees.
Right.
And so did the job seekers. And we talked to a few people that have a lot of anxiety. They were much more comfortable at the smaller job fair.
Okay.
They were able to talk longer. We had some 18-year-olds come out, and we were able to direct them to some of our programs at Arizona at Work to get them moving towards a career track rather than just a job. And went real well. The construction companies did good. Sierra Suites did great. They are under new management.
Okay.
I think Centrillion was happy. We had
some of our law enforcement. They had a lot of people there, which is normally they haven't been doing that graded hiring events. But it seemed like they had a lot of people engaged in them and stuff like that as well. So it went really well yesterday.
Yeah, and every 18-year-old that came by our table,
you
we
said
explained to them.
Yeah,
we sure did. But we think the Air Guard got one because of us. So.
Yeah, it was just funny.
Just doing our part.
Well, I tried to join the Marines. Let me guess, you're too smart for them. So you scored high on the GT score. I mean, on your ASVAB. But yeah, it was a nice event. Yeah. Like Kevin was saying, the employers seemed very happy with the turnout, and it was very manageable. And people were coming in, and it was one of the few times I've seen where employers an hour early they weren't tearing down their booths; they were staying a little bit longer.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that was awesome. And because you see that happen all the time. And I don't blame them, but we had people that as they're packing up, people were still engaged in them. Amazon, I think, was one of my favorite I talked to yesterday, because one of the things they have,
because he was in the Army.
Yeah, he was. He was a pretty impressive guy, pretty cool. But one of the things that they have for veterans is their fellowship program, whereas they look at your experience in the Army, and I don't want to say fast track, but it is a pipeline to management positions because they
Okay.
look at your experience in the military.
So how would that work a little bit? Could you give us a little bit more of an
So
example?
my understanding is, say you
Okay.
you wanna join the Amazon team, and of course, hey, I'm a veteran, blah blah blah. Well, let's get some more information. Well, I'm a retired, whatever. And then I say, okay, so how would you feel about maybe working in a management position based on because of your leadership attributes?
Okay.
Because we do bring a lot to the table, you
Mhm.
know. And so they would work with you and get you, groom you into management positions. My understanding, um, and what else was it? And they also have a bunch of virtual positions
Right.
because the recruiter we were talking to retired army. Um, that some of the clients, the people he talks to, there are a lot of veterans that have PTS or whatever that might enjoy working in a virtual position.
Mhm.
So there are some benefits to that.
Yeah.
Well, so if I don't have a lot of, let's say, education, and let's say I put in like 10 years in the military, or whatever, and I got a lot of experience from being in the military. So then they value that experience just from the military,
hmm
not even based on what kind of education, or
That
no.
was my understanding,
Uh-huh.
but
That's cool.
it was a really nice conversation with him. Really impressed with the direction Amazon's going because, from my understanding, they're thinking outside the box how to recruit people into
Right.
their company.
Yeah.
And like I said, a ton of virtual positions are available.
Well, you had mentioned, and this is what piqued my curiosity, Kevin. You had mentioned that each day was geared towards a specific field.
Uh-huh.
And what appealed to me about that is, let's say I'm looking for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to come on day one then, because that would be a waste of everybody's time.
Exactly.
And I don't want to come on day two, because that'd be a waste of everybody's time. But day three, man, I'm there because I know exactly what it is that I'm looking for.
Yeah, and it was day 3. I mean, we had Border Patrol, Customs, Emergency Directorate. I don't
The emergency
remember.
services.
Services. We had the was it CCOM, the 911
Yes.
dispatchers, Sierra Vista Police Department, a couple others. So yeah, so you kind of you had your choice.
Right.
You
and,
know.
and the nice thing that I liked about it is, too, as a working as a DevOps case manager, is that if I have a client, say they applied for, as an example, Jacobs yesterday, took a young gentleman down there, escorting him there, talked to the recruiter and say, hey, look, I just had my client here applied, and blah blah blah, and it was kind of funny because the recruiter was like, I recognize the name.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boom. Yeah. So there was a mix up. We need you to, let's fix this right now.
Yeah.
And that is a benefit too, is because with a small event, as case managers, or job coaches, whatever you want to call us now,
Right.
DevOps, but we're able to go escort our client down there to say, hey, Mike, I have this client here. They applied or they're interested in talking to you. And so that helps out a lot too, because now there's a lot more skin in the game, if you will,
Yeah.
because we're escorting our people down there to talk to these recruiters as well.
Can military recruiters go to these?
Yeah.
Okay,
We had.
Are
The
they
Air
listed
National
with
Guard?
Yeah, we
Arizona
had
at
the Air-
work, or
No, there's no affiliation, but our business service rep, he works with every type of employer.
okay?
So he puts the word out to the recruiters, and depending on their availability, they'll come out. But we had
The Air National Guard was really impressive with the jobs that they have available.
yeah,
And there's the possibility, so you enlist in the Air National Guard and say at some point later on you wanted to get into a full-time position. Some of those positions pay really good money. I was very impressed with that. And, and a lot of people, I think, when it comes to your Guard Reserve, they, you hear, I don't want to have to go fight the Russians. Well, we're not fighting the Russians right now. So,
Right.
Or for whatever reason. And it's nice to be able to take people over there, let the recruiters explain, and because it was just kind of funny talking to somebody. Well, we were talking to this young kid, and he was like, "So, what do you guys do?" I said, "Well, have you ever served in the military? We work with veterans, blah blah blah." And they're like, "Oh," and it's like, "Well, do you want to be a veteran?" Yeah,
You want to be a veteran. I love it.
You got to put in the
That's
work.
easy to do.
You want to be a veteran.
Would you like to be one day? And it is kind of funny because then you talk to these kids, and it was hilarious to talk to one. And then on the way back, he's like, "Man, my mom's going to be mad at me." It's like, it's going to be okay. You just talking to an Air National Guard recruiter, how bad can it be?
She'd be even
Part-timer,
madder.
I mean, education benefits.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say the mom would
Healthcare.
be even madder if he came home with a signed contract and an enlistment.
Exactly.
Yeah, it might get a little awkward then. So yeah.
But that's one thing that, man, I wish I was smart when I was a kid. I was dumb. I don't know if all of us were, but I was. I
Yeah,
was
we
18, 19
Yeah,
when I
pretty
enlisted,
stupid.
right?
Well,
And I never thought about making the military a career at that time.
it's interesting because I was kind of joking about this the other day. It's like, you need to take that ASVAB just a little bit more serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people don't realize. What do you mean? I can only be a truck driver, mechanic, or an artilleryman? So.
Right.
But that's where it all starts, And you're right. When we were younger, it's like, man, this probably wasn't the greatest career choice I could have made, but you're serving your country, and I think
Right.
that's,
No matter what MOS
yeah,
you had.
you serve our country, and and some people may not like that, and and it's hard. Sometimes when you're at a job fair, you get these amazing individuals that want to try and turn it political, and it's like, look, sorry, we're not going to go there.
Yeah.
If you want to join the military, we'll take you to a recruiter, let them take care of it. But at the end of the day, it's not about who sits in that Oval Office. It's about serving our country and
Right.
doing what's right.
Yeah.
And then when you get into your unit, it's about the person who stands on your left and right.
Yeah.
No more, no
Well,
less, in my opinion.
I tell you what, let's get a little personal here because I have interviewed Kevin, I think a couple times, and I did have the honor to interview Jerry also. And my memory isn't that great. I'm kind of Air Force,
Yes.
Army,
Mm-hmm.
and you retired, right?
Yes.
Air Force, but you did not retire Army.
Well, I retired out of the Army Reserve.
Army Reserve.
Mhm.
So you guys had all those years of experience.
Mhm.
So when you walked into Arizona at work to get your job, starting with Kevin, explain to our audience
That's kind of a
what
funny
that
story.
experience was like for you.
So
This guy dealt with it.
yeah,
Oh,
he
Gary
turned me
did?
down for training.
Oh, wow.
Nah, I heard that Arizona at Work could help you get certifications.
Okay.
And I come in and, he explained to me, no, it doesn't work that way. You need a job offer. And, we're not just going to pay for a certification that you don't use,
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got hired on, and it was weird at first because my local veteran employment representative, he was Brad Harvey. He had done my job for less than 6 months before
Okay.
he moved up. So he hadn't been to the National Veteran Training Institute to truly learn the job. And now he's trying to learn another job. And meanwhile, our other counterpart, he was doing all the outreach throughout Santa Cruz, Cochise, and Graham and
Wow.
Greenlee counties. So the experience was not in the house. So I was kind of on my own, and then went to the National Veterans Training Institute. I think within about 3 months of start, I was in quick.
Okay.
And then a lot of learning on the fly, and making mistakes, and learning
Yeah,
from
that's
them.
how we learn.
Everybody, and learning to put that NCO and senior NCO cap back on when you need to.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta say, man, your mom's gonna be disappointed, and they'll do what they need to do. And other times, you gotta go, all right, stand at attention.
Yep.
At ease that noise.
Yeah.
And Jerry, how about you? What was your hiring experience like when you went in and got?
It was funny. I'd spent a long time on active duty, and I came home from Iraq as a contractor, And so I really didn't know. I found out later that I could apply for unemployment. And so I went down. I walked into Arizona at work, and I wound up talking to a DVOP, Mario Orozco, and he was like, "Well, what about going to college?" Well, I wasn't eligible for unemployment, so I was a
Right.
little upset. However, so I wound up going to school. I was a VA work study with, in those days, the old school Arizona at work.
Yeah.
And I started doing that for a long time. And then I got hired on with what we call our Title 1B, where I was a training one stop, working with people. And so, dealt with Kevin when he was still in uniform.
Right.
We made fun of him, of course. That was just part of the part, but it was just kind of interesting. So, about 3 years ago, I was sitting in our one stop, and one of the DevOps had retired, and our receptionist, Nilda, who's an amazing lady, her husband's a retired sergeant major, we're sitting up there one day, and she's like, "Jerry, you need to apply as a take." The DevOps position, and I really didn't want to. I was very apprehensive about it, so I said, well, whatever. So I go home, I talk to uh, Linda, my wife, and I was like, well, what do you think about me joining state service? And she's like, well, I don't know. And so we went back and forth, and then our manager, who's greatest manager on the planet, Teresa Celestine. She's so awesome.
Yeah, give
Thumbs up.
Teresa a big shout out.
Big shout out to Teresa. I had known, the nice thing is I had known Kevin and Teresa for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Teresa and I applied, and so I think it was just it was a nice thing to do because I enjoy working with veterans.
Right.
And it can be very challenging sometimes, but it's very rewarding at the same time.
Now, we're not done yet, but I just wanted to thank both of you for sharing that because I wanted to give our veterans at home that maybe are not working and maybe are apprehensive for whatever reason, and maybe by you guys sharing your stories, maybe that could maybe get them to that little push that they need.
I think it's challenging, when you served in the military and you served in units with a high tempo operation, operational, and you ETS or retire and you're sitting there, and it can be very overwhelming because you really don't know what direction you want to go. And it's very challenging. And that was my problem. My wife Linda was saying, I got too comfortable. I lived and worked in a bubble, and I was very content with that. And then, when it came time to move to the big league, if you will, I'm sitting there and I almost quit because I was like, this is some BS. It felt I was just very overwhelmed with all of this. And talking.
See, I'm the Excel, I'm the Microsoft, the Google guy.
Right.
Jerry, resume writing is about all he really did on the computer, other than maybe Amazon and so his weakness was admin, and he struggled with that.
Right.
But then March of
COVID hit. Oh God!
I worked from home, and he worked in our one stop. I mean, March and April, it was just nothing but people coming in and filing for unemployment. And that went on for about a year,
Wow.
And then, of course, because there was not one state unemployment system that was truly ready for it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a huge drop.
Right.
That many people, and they had to hire a bunch of people, to try and streamline it. They're having to deal with people that, they're not sure where they're going to get their next meal. Am I going to lose my house? So they had, to work with those people. And then, of course, the angry people. And he just got thrown into the fire. I mean, they were doing everything.
And Kevin brought up a good point. What was cool, though, with our DevOps, it was, not knocking on the non-veterans here. I'm just not going to do. I would be very polite
No,
about this.
because I know Arizona at Work does work
Well,
with a lot of civilians.
But what
so-
was amazing, though, our DevOps, as Kevin puts it all the time, we grabbed our rucksack and we went to
That's it.
mission. You know, we remissioned.
That's it. We grabbed our bug out kit,
yeah, and
went
we,
to our alternate location, and
And-
set up shop, and we just boom.
and it was easy peasy for
Yeah,
us. It really was.
and we set up our command and control. We're communicating with
Yeah.
each
Wow.
other, best practices
Overnight, and you know,
Yeah.
and we're not making that up. It was
No,
just
it
kind of
was-
interesting
Mm.
because all the DevOps were like, boom, done. Let's do this.
Yeah,
And
because I'm calling them and I'm going, every veteran, send them my way. Just
Right.
Send them. I'll handle all the veterans because they were just getting overwhelmed. I mean, what was it? 600-700 phone calls coming through daily.
Wow.
oh, 1
to the
week
desk.
over 1,000.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
that's a
mean,
lot.
yeah, it was, and of course, the pandemic unemployment had different process, or different rules.
Okay.
So having to understand that, learn that on the fly because we had to,
Mhm.
it had to get out there. So honestly, for a year, we went from employment to strictly unemployment, because it was, don't worry about it. You don't have to do your job searches.
right.
You want everybody to stay home, and, and of course, our primary category of veterans, our biggest category, are disabled veterans. So most of our veterans were at higher risk of the catastrophic,
Right.
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 and and of course, telling them, hey, I need you to swallow your pride. You need to apply for unemployment. You need to apply
Yeah,
for
it's
this
a hard
pandemic.
thing to do.
Yeah.
You
We're,
don't
we're
wanna-
very prideful.
Right.
The veteran community
Yeah.
is, and that was what the challenging part. And then again, after the COVID, I'll just say the end of it or whatever, I just, for sake of discussion, is that then we remission back to our jobs again,
Yeah.
working with our veteran community, getting them employed. And the one thing, and this is just my opinion, what I take a lot of pride in is that with Kevin and I, one of the things we have noticed is that our veteran community is going back to
Yeah.
work.
Right.
And as DevOps, this is just things that we see here. So that is fascinating. Is that one working in conjunction with a center?
There you go. Dan said it perfectly. Adapt and overcome.
Yeah. And,
Is that Dan?
and freaking Dan.
What is a compliment, though?
Yeah, I
We'll
know.
take
No,
that.
yeah. No, and he's right. Dan's right. Is that we do adapt and we do
Right.
overcome, and that's what's kind of interesting with what we see right now is even though veterans, we see an increase veterans working on getting that disability increase. We see veterans utilizing their educational benefits, and on top of that, they may be getting a part-time job or going back full-time. So it's just really fascinating
Right.
from our perspective what we see on the battlefield.
Now, true or false, and this is only your opinion, what you've interacted with and stuff like that. I hear a lot of times when you go someplace and it's poor service or something's backed up, whatever the case may be, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. Is that a true or false statement?
Right in between.
Right now in
Yeah, in
America.
between.
Right in between.
Yeah, I would say in
So,
between.
because my first instinct is want to say true because we grew up.
Yeah.
Okay, you start mowing the lawn at 10, 12 years old. Go
Right.
make money, snow shovel, get that job when you're 16. Get the car. I've been working ever since. But what we've seen too is there's a lot of people working online.
Mhm.
A lot of people did. There's a lot of people making money on TikTok and all
Right.
of that. So why do they have to go to a physical location and flip burgers?
Exactly.
A lot of people went back to school because they could do it virtually, so they found that funding. So they're still in school, and then a lot of people for health reasons, have stayed home because of COVID,
But I don't think the government is actually giving people money to stay home.
No.
No,
Right.
that was so. Personal opinion on pandemic unemployment, it was needed.
Yeah.
However, I think by extending it as long as the government did, that didn't help the businesses.
Yeah, 'cause-
Didn't help our economy either.
Yeah.
well, I was watching a news report not that long ago. I thought it was very fascinating. Is that we're seeing we're seeing a transition happening within our community. Is that people are realizing I don't have to work this job if I don't want to.
Right.
I could reinvent myself, i.e., like we see within our veteran community. I can reinvent myself and do this instead. Like Kevin was saying, or Uber Eats. Some people make decent money doing that. So why go work at Walmart, if you will, or another corporation when if you're, say, a veteran that has a significant disability rating
Right.
and they just want to make a little bit extra money on the side, why not do this instead? Because now they're setting their own hours.
We have a veteran here that comes to the Warrior Healing Center. When he was up in Phoenix, he showed me an app. I can't remember the name of it. Basically, he just puts his availability, and they go, do you want to work this job today? You want to work this
Oh,
job?
wow.
This
Yeah.
job for 2 weeks? It could be construction labor,
That's
and
cool.
making pretty good money. So right now, he's not looking for a career.
Yeah.
He's just looking to build up funds to get a little more stable, and so you're seeing more and more people do that, the gig work,
Mm-hmm.
and so where our generation and our parents, it was, no, I need to work for this company, the whole
20
retire,
years, get the
get the
gold
gold
watch.
watch, all of that. It's different now.
What was minimum wage when we worked? About what, $3.50 an hour? If that,
God, I don't remember.
I started 316.
$3.16 an
Yeah.
hour.
But overtime was constant.
Yeah.
Hey, people calling sick. Hey,
Yeah.
Kev, can you come in? Sure.
Because you're reliable.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some companies that I have clients that work for because they are having difficulties recruiting people.
Right.
That they get more overtime they know what to do with.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. So,
Mhm.
but I think what we're seeing is a transition within our country, our community, if you will, on people going back to work. They're just reinventing themselves because why go work 8 hours a day over here when maybe I could go do this instead, maybe make the same amount of money,
Right.
less hours.
Yeah.
So it is very
And
fascinating.
then sometimes, like you said, benefits does pay
it does.
into it.
You know,
I was when I got done at the Tucson VA appointment. I was hungry, and that In-N-Out burger that's right
Mhm.
there. And
Yeah.
I'm driving through the In-N-Out, and they got a big sign on there: "Help wanted."
Yeah.
Starting at $16
It's
an
insane.
hour.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
in order for
wow.
the companies to pay those salaries, what are they going to do? They're going to raise their prices,
Or they're
They
going to
gotta do
shrink
it
the
somehow.
product.
or do
Shrink the product.
I think it.
I saw Zingers.
Girl Scout cookies. I swear they shrink
Yeah.
their
They're getting
cookies.
smaller.
I saw Zingers at Circle K the other day. I remember they used to be about like that big.
Yeah.
And these things were like wafers.
Like sacrilegious.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and I understand because kind of a funny story. Found this out later on. Kevin and I were talking. We both worked at the same McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
and I tell them, I personally did not like fast food working there. I made it one night.
Guess you showed them.
Yeah, I showed them. I joined the Army instead.
Yeah.
Went down to the recruiter the next day.
Couldn't
but-
handle McDonald's.
Yeah, I know. But it's just
And then they found out you had that McDonald's experience, and they put you on KP all the time. Right?
Yeah, jerks. How dare they? Yeah, go to the field.
First
you're on KP.
McDonald's in the
Yeah.
first McDonald's ever with a drive-thru. You remember that?
Yeah.
Sierra
Yeah.
Vista, Arizona.
So
Yeah.
I do understand it. I do. And the whole discussion is very interesting because, like I said, we're seeing a transition.
Incredible shrinking burger. Oh, off the subject, did you see the kid Derek Hall from Bueno
Yes.
High School?
From Sierra Vista.
2 home runs
Two home
yesterday
runs in
with
one
the
game.
Phillies. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm loved. I mean, we're small town, so that's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Well, and one of our coworkers related to the kid.
Yeah,
Really? Who's
Yeah.
that?
Louis.
Louis.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was
But
just
it's-
kind of neat.
But
Yeah,
come
it's
to
nice to
find
see a
out,
hometown
Louis
kid do
related to
that.
everybody.
Yeah,
He'll
he
tell
is.
you that too.
There's another one my daughter went to school with, Donnie Veal,
Uh-huh.
and he made it. I think he got drafted by the Cubs, if I'm not mistaken, but he actually got into the bigs with the Pirates, and then he was with a couple other teams, and then the White Sox, and then he got into scouting,
Yeah.
which I guess being a scout is a pretty good lucrative job too. So, but no, we've got a few hometown heroes.
Yeah, it's
Don,
kind of
Don the Predator Fry
Yeah,
went to Bueno.
UFC.
Yeah.
That guy was a beast.
His nose used to be a lot smaller, but he blocked a lot of punches with his nose.
Yeah.
When we had a movies to go
Wow.
here, I remember going there because they used to have all the
Movies
UFCs
to
on,
go.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
movies to
on
go.
video on
Yeah.
VHS. This was way back when,
It
and I
was,
used to go and rent them just so I could watch the fights because I would watch them. He was so.
Yeah, but be kind. Rewind.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
kind, rewind. Yeah, used to love movies.
And
to
if
go.
you didn't,
oh my
they
God.
charge you a fee for it.
Oh,
so.
I know.
That
So-
was actually nice movies to go.
It
On
was.
the corner of Fry and it's this pharmacy now.
Oh no, that was the Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster. Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking
That was the
movies
other
to go was.
Movies to go was
Yeah.
over there by Kentucky Fried
Yeah,
Chicken.
there we
Yeah.
go. There we
Yeah.
go.
My son worked at Blockbuster though. So, and speaking of these old time jobs and like Hastings,
Yeah.
oh, I miss Hastings.
I did.
I love
Anyhow,
that
we
place.
could talk about that
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
But anyways, how many jobs are available right now in Cochise County that you know of?
Shoot,
I-
well over
800. We saw.
800. That's a
800
probably a little bit
jobs.
higher, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's, I mean,
Wow.
and that's everything from cybersecurity, medical. Right now, the schools, of course, are advertising for. They're hiring for the fall,
Right.
and retail, construction is. They're having a hard time finding qualified people down here, and our construction footprint down in Cochise County is getting bigger. A lot of small businesses that
Mhm.
we had that first day. We had mom and pop plumber, mom and pop roofer,
Right.
of course KE&G, they're the big one, and you know they're out
Well-
there trying to get workers.
I'm not gonna be political here,
Mhm.
pro gun, anti gun, but I swear if we hired our veterans to be security guards at the schools, I don't think we'd have near as many school shootings. I don't, because I think we need to protect our children, and what a better way to do that to have guards, and I think veterans would be great at that. You know, protecting our kids.
We are seeing changes with certain companies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of benefits to hiring a veteran, and we are seeing an increase in companies wanting to say, "Ooh, hold on here," because they see the benefits. So, and like I tell some of my clients, so for me, I thought it was kind of good. If you get that high disability rating, you don't have to you don't have to purchase medical insurance through the company. A little
Right.
bit extra money coming into your pocket. There's a lot of benefit, as far as veterans bring discipline, they bring ethics, they bring, a bunch of different things to that company. And Kevin and I used to joke about this. One of the biggest things, and I still have trouble with this, is that, what do you mean you got to take lunch? We're used to working. You have to force
Right.
it. Hey, go take your lunch. We're used to, we kind of joke about 12-hour shift. Oh, that's easy peasy. Could do it standing on your head, and it's kind of funny because I feel that's what we're conditioned to do. And it's hard to get out of that, but there is a lot of pros to hiring veterans. There really is.
Yeah.
Do the businesses too? Don't some of them aren't they offered tax breaks
Yes.
from like the state and
Huge.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes,
The
very much
work
so.
opportunity tax credit, and it's I can't remember how much the
It's a
credit
decent
is. It's a
amount.
decent amount, and it's previously incarcerated,
Mhm.
Okay.
low income individuals, veterans, and there's a few more categories. And if they stay at 6 months, then they can claim that credit on their
One
federal
of the
taxes.
things, exactly. One of the things that we're seeing too, which is very fascinating, is that your veterans, they're thinking outside the box when they look for employment, and some of them, they look for those jobs that are of like-minded. So traditionally, back in the day, a retiree or whatever, government service, if you will, or whether it's for federal, state, or law enforcement. But you're seeing a lot of veteran, what do you call it, veteranpreneur?
Veteranpreneur.
Yeah, veteranpreneur. They're starting their own companies.
Yeah.
You're seeing veterans join organizations, taking their skill set and going to the private sector, kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit different. You're seeing veterans who are, just thinking outside the box. And I think, your post 9/11 veteran, I think, is just, they're different. And they do think outside the box when it comes to employment opportunities and what type of work a lot of them would be minimalists. They downsize. They don't need as much. And they are able to look at jobs. Okay, so maybe if I work so many months out of the year, I can go play I can go travel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very fascinating. And, like I keep saying, we're seeing this transition happening, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So as a veteran, if I opened up my own small business here in Sierra Vista and I wanted to hire veterans and I wanted to go through you guys, how would I do that?
Well, first things first, go down to Arizona at Work. One of the individuals down there is Eric Grisham.
Is that the one on Wilcox or the one here at the Warrior
2600 East Wilcox Drive?
Yeah,
okay.
Wilcox.
You're going to ask for Eric Grisham. He is a business service representative.
Okay.
The other individual you will ask for is Coy Trujillo. He is our lever. So those two individuals for Cochise County, you would reach out to them and say, "Hey, look, I want to hire veterans." Oh, okay, cool. They would have you, the small business owner or business owner, fill some forms out and stuff, get some information, and then they'll start posting those jobs. Now with for free.
For free? Okay.
With our lever, what we do, it's a little bit different, but not much, is that so Kevin and I work with that client and we get them job ready, and then we hand them over to our lever and they can go out and advocate for that client.
Directly with the employee.
So again, if you are a veteran-owned business and you're looking to hire veterans through Arizona at Work, just go to 2600 East Wilcox.
Yeah.
And they're right next door to the Disabled American Veterans because I'm a service officer there on Thursdays. So. But if you go in the door that's facing El Camino Real, that's what I usually tell people.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in the door, right there is a DAV, and then to their right is Arizona at Work. So
and also, so say you have a veteran that needs training. We'll just say a certification, if you will. They also, if you go to Arizona at Work, they do what they call an introduction. And if that individual qualifies for assistance, they will pay for their training through no cost. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of benefits to going down to Arizona at Work.
Matter of fact,
I was going to ask you that. What's the best way to do that? Is it to physically go in, to call, or go to a website?
I think, personally, you can go to the website and everything can be done online. But I think you find out more information coming in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're not just going to have one person working with you. You're gonna, one thing about our office that we pride ourselves is that we communicate with each other. Well, none of us are so proud that I have to take credit for this, or I have to take credit.
Right.
If I'm working with a female that's struggling, I'm going to try and get them over to Women Warriors. Same thing at Arizona at Work. We've had females come in that are just down and aren't comfortable talking, to the male.
Right.
So hand them off to the female, let them do that, and then we throw ideas at each other. And, when you come in and you're a business owner and you're asking for Eric, the rest of us get to see you. We're going to chat you up while you're waiting for Eric or Coy to come out.
Right.
And we're going to go, wait a minute. You have a plumbing company? I have a plumber. All right, you talk to him. I'm going to go get my plumber's resume ready. I'm gonna wait for that job order, is what we call it, to come out.
Right.
So I can make sure that resume matches the job order as much as possible, so that the plumbing company wants to interview that
And-
veteran or
and
that plumber.
the caveat off the plumbing company, if you will. So
Mhm.
what's kind of cool is, so once we get that individual job ready to interview with that company, that say the company gives you an offer letter, you bring it back to either Kevin or myself, and we'll say you need some tools or clothes or whatever, or you don't have reliable transpo, you need a bike. We have the ability through our veteran toolkit to purchase those items to get you to your first paycheck.
Okay.
And it's not a lot of money, but
Anything helps.
exactly. And if say you needed some super expensive items, there's other resources we have access to, but that little veteran toolkit is enough to get you started
Right.
at your job. And this goes for any employer. You get employment, you need assistance, come see us, and we'll get you squared away.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean to cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
Oh, one of the things that I like about our Title I training and education program is that where we're located, the Cochise College Downtown Center is where the nursing and the EMT program
Yes.
is. The staff there sends every single one of them to us. And what I love on the
Wow.
veteran side is, okay, so if you're using your post 9/11 GI Bill, right, you get in the housing allowance or housing stipend and the book stipend, all that. But the GI Bill will not pay for stethoscope, blood
Really?
pressure cuff, none of that. But you go over and you get into our Title I program, they're going to pay for that stuff, so you don't have to pay out of pocket,
Yeah.
And, it's not an easy program to go through, so you can focus on your education and training.
Exactly. And one of the things, just real quick, is that we always talk about the veteran. What about their family? They have the same barriers as that veteran does. So there's resources. With the spouses, we could work with them.
Yeah.
If that veteran falls in our demographic, that means the spouse does as well. So we'll work with a spouse. Now, there's programs available through WIOA, Arizona at Work,
Right.
that they may be eligible for as well. So say you have a family that they're just not making a lot of money. They have kids that meet the demographics of what we call professional youth quest. Through WIOA here in town, or Cochise County, Cochise, Graham, and Greeley, we have our professional youth quest. They can go in and do the same thing, assist those kids in breaking down barriers. If they qualify, they can pay for their education as well, their training, internships. So there's a lot of benefits for veterans and their families to come down to Arizona at Work, because we always forget about the spouses. We do. It's not done maliciously, but they have the same barriers as the veteran does.
I did see a company, and I can't remember which one it was, that was giving preference to spouses.
Yes.
And I thought that was pretty cool, because
It's
they
amazing.
move around with the veterans
Yeah.
when they're active duty.
And there's really no national certification or licensing.
Right.
So you get to another state, now you have money out of pocket. Military doesn't pay for that.
Yeah, it's interesting, because we'll see a lot of spouses that we'll talk to some of them. They have a degree, but they're maybe working as a housekeeping because they PCS to this new duty station, and they have that degree, but they're not able to work in that career field. Now they're a displaced homemaker. They're underemployed. So there's a lot of stuff they may be eligible for, degree or no degree, if they come down to Arizona at Work and talk to our staff, and we can direct that spouse and be able to assist in breaking down those barriers, because it's difficult. Sometimes you get lucky and you'll be at a duty station for long periods of time, or you're always on the move, and so it's unfair to those spouses, because they give up their career to support the soldier, the service member, and so we see that a lot as well.
So if I'm a veteran at home right now and I'm watching this, and I'm like thinking to myself, man, I really want to go in and see Kevin or Jerry, how do I do that? Do I make an appointment? Do I just walk in the front door? Do you have certain office hours?
Send up the DVOP signal and we'll be there.
Oh, just beam out the,
There you
like
go.
Batman.
There you go. No,
you have a DVOP vehicle?
We're at 2 locations here in town.
Right.
Monday and Tuesdays, we're at Arizona at Work, 2600 East Wilcox Drive.
Okay.
Phone number is 458-9309, or Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we're down here at the center at 1838 Paseo San Luis.
Okay.
And just reach out to us. Our business cards are up front here at the center. If you go to Arizona at Work, the reception is up there. Our team over there is very good about reaching out to us via email, text, or whatever. Hey, we have a veteran. This is their contact info. Blah blah blah. So
So they can just walk in the door, and
can,
if you're
yes.
available, because that happened this morning. As a matter of fact, there was a veteran that walked in, and I was talking with him, and he was asking me a lot about different jobs, and he said that he had heard about the Warrior Healing Center, but he had never been here, and this was his first time, coming in. And we always try to make every experience that the veteran comes here comfortable. So.
Yeah.
One of the things our manager just reiterates time and time again, and I think it's true, is that when that client comes in those doors, a lot of times this is it. It's bad, and so they come in, and it should be a good experience, and they should leave with something, whether it's an abundance of information or a resume or a job lead or something. They should leave the building with hope, I guess.
Yeah. Hope is I was going to say that, hope.
Yeah.
Because without hope,
you know, and I thought this is kind of interesting because I think it's true, and I really love this term. Veterans, we're part of a tribe, and we need to take care of our tribe.
Right.
And it could be very challenging sometimes, but we have to do what's right to help everybody in our tribe.
So in closing, do you have any last words that you guys would like to share
You're awesome.
today? No. I just sit here and ask the questions. I enjoy doing this because I get to meet veterans. I get to tell their stories. I get to listen to them. And I think that's important that we listen.
No, and you're right. And I think, with what I do for a living is very rewarding. And, sometimes as a DevOps, we tell people, we have the same barriers that our veteran clients do.
You have to be a disabled veteran to
do our job.
Right.
And it can be very challenging. However, don't give up. It's okay. We'll be time on target. We'll help you the best we can. We'll point you in the right direction, or we're not going nowhere anytime soon. And so, if you just have questions, come see us. We'll do the best we can to answer those questions. Don't be afraid to ask.
Okay.
Don't swallow your pride. It's going to be okay, because we just want to help and do what's right.
There you go. And Kevin, how about you?
If you're a veteran in Cochise County and you haven't been to the Warrior Healing Center, you need to come down. Family, that's what the center is. And every veteran, there's something here for every veteran, So come on down.
Well, I appreciate you gentlemen both for joining today.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. And both of these guys do great work. Again, I can't tell you how many times veterans have walked through the door. They have that look on their face of despair, and it's like, what am I going to do? I need a job or this or that. And I got to tell you, the Warrior Healing Center has so many great resources, and then the fact that you guys are one of those resources or some of those resources are amazing.
Love being
so
here.
thank you both.
Thank you guys for having us here.
Oh, no problem.
We wouldn't.
Anytime.
Part of our, not part. I think the majority of our success is due to you guys.
Yeah.
And
really
in closing here, real quick, I'd like to share with the audience real quick. I know that sometimes you guys come on camera and do a little interview between each other, talk about jobs, interview other DevOps, stuff like that. Keep that up, because I like seeing those, and people do watch those.
Yeah.
So
we're starting to back up in July. We ran out of material, but we got new material. Shows coming back.
Sock puppets. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be so exciting.
It's so exciting.
I love the idea you said about having Kevin sit in your lap, and then we could use him as a puppet.
I've been trying to talk him. I've been trying to talk Kevin into it. He's a little reluctant. he could be a handful sometimes. He really can. And I have to email Janet, hey, talk to your husband.
Because I'm so pretty.
He is. But he has to be reminded. I have to stroke his ego some days.
Well, again, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us to Arizona at Work. Kevin, Jerry, and you get a break today. No events. The only event I have to share with you today is Monday is July 4th. There's a lot of stuff that's happening down at the Veterans Park. So if you get a chance, come down there and check it out. And that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great day. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
God bless America.
God bless America. That's right.